Hello everyone, me again. So for today I thought I'd upload a couple of videos about a simple structure to answering 9-mark questions. I know it's something that gets a lot of you stuck, and it's something at Nottingham Academy where we like to try not to tell you too much about how to answer things. We think as overall it kind of limits you if we tell you exactly how to answer and how to structure things. However, I think some overall understanding of how a good answer should be structured is really useful. So I'm just going to give you some kind of guiding rules and understanding an idea of how exactly to do that. So for those of you that are looking towards the higher marks, which give or take all of you really should be looking to do, if we say something like the kind of 7 to 9 marks, then these are the kind of key things that you need to be thinking about doing in your answer. So first of all, how am I going to get detailed knowledge into my answer? Okay, and that is things like facts, factual case study information that are going to be able to go in there. So good example of things like 500 people died in Chile, or the Nepal earthquake cost $5 billion, that kind of thing. Okay, and that is really you guys understanding your case studies as much as possible. Next thing you need to be understanding or thinking about is a detailed understanding, okay, of the geography that is involved, okay, and thinking about even things like answering the question, okay. And a lot of that comes on from two different things. First of all, understanding the knock-on effects, and through understanding things like the relationships between different things happening. So when we think about categorizing, for example, is something as simple as saying it fits into a social category, or is it social and economic, or can it bridge all three categories, for example? So say if like farmland is destroyed, well actually that can affect the environment, but it can affect society and the economic outlook for a person or a country. The final thing, and perhaps the most important thing, is demonstrating the application of knowledge to evaluate. All your 9 markers, give or take, are asking you for some type of evaluation, okay? So the way that I look at it as a kind of triangle, shall we say, is like this. We have at the base, we have our, this is probably going to be a really bad triangle, is our facts or our detailed knowledge. Okay, I'm going to call it facts, just for simplicity. Then next in line, if we just draw it a little bit further, is our understanding of knock-on effects. So I'm just going to put effects there. And then finally, to that, the triangle of that perfect answer is the evaluation. So I'll put 3 there, and I'll put eval there. Okay? So you're kind of honing in on that perfect answer. And the base of that is always on our case study knowledge, thinking about the knock-on effects and then evaluating at the top. Okay? So if I was to structure an answer, the way that I would go about it, say if we were assessing something, or to what extent, first of all, if I was thinking of a paragraph flow, I would make my first point in my introduction. I would then go on to explain that point in more detail. So, for example, if we were looking at primary versus secondary effects, which is more important? In my introduction, I could say something, well, I think primary effects are to a greater effect or extent more impactful than secondary effects. My evidence for this is given in the explanation. So, for example, in Nepal, 9,000 people died in the primary impact of an earthquake in 2015. And then I could go on some more detailed knock-on effects within that answer. I would then go on to give a counter-argument in the third paragraph. Counter-argument in the third paragraph, okay? And say, however, secondary effects can also have a large impact. And then go on to discuss that in more detail. And then finally, conclude. And that would be going back and rounding off and saying, considering all the points above, I still consider primary effects to be of a greater impact. And throughout this, we need to be considering detailed knowledge, detailed understanding of knock-on effects, and application of that evaluation throughout. These are not things that can be done in specific paragraphs. 9 marker answers, consider those things throughout. Okay? So if I was to give you 3 things that I think are absolutely critical in answering 9 markers. 1, learn your case studies. Only you can sit down, look, cover, think, check, writing out notes and shortening them. There's lots of methods of revision. Find out which one works for you and do it again and again and again. Practicing exam type questions. Okay. Remember, me and Mr. Sturvan are always about for you A181, A182. If you want to come and find us to try and practice some exam questions, or if you write some out and you'd like to know what marks we'd give them, please just bring them to us. We'll be more than happy to help out. And final thing, be evaluative. As I always say to you guys, geography is all about making choices, okay? I would prefer that you put in fewer points and were more evaluative and more discussive and more developed than just having lots of facts in your answer, okay? Quality, not quantity. Okay, as per usual, always welcome to come and find me in A181 if you have any questions, but this is a good guide for how you guys can answer 9 mark questions. Okay, good luck in your exam.